Good morning. Happy Saturday. Thank you for joining me, whether you're joining me live or you're joining me later. Today's topic is notable news from the week. I always enjoy this topic. It's fun. What I do is I go through the articles that I posted online, that I posted on my LinkedIn site. So everything we see, you can go back and go to my LinkedIn site, check out my write-up on the article, and then click on the link if you want to go directly to the article. So everything's accessible on my LinkedIn website. But let's get started. On Monday, I posted this article from Housing Wire, 2023 HMDA data. IMBs are up 69% market share by Chris Clow. And in this article, the biggest notes, from 2022 to 2023, the industry went from 14.3 million units to 10 million units. That's a significant reduction. That's all part of the storm that we talk about. But IMBs originated nearly 69% of the total volume, 68.8%, a new high. So good for IMBs. The other part is 21% of originations in 2023 were seconds. So first one from the HMDA data on lenders, IMBs are taking more market share. Units were significantly down, 22 to 23, and seconds accounted for about 21% of total units. Next, skipping all the way to Thursday, for the first time, I missed posting 2 days in a row. That's the first time in like 6 months. Just super busy. Had a bunch of stuff on Tuesday and Wednesday. I apologize. But then picked it up on Thursday with an article by Jan Swanson from Mortgage News Daily. By the way, Mortgage News Daily is a free subscription, and they put out a great daily end of the day newsletter. It gives you kind of some market direction info. It gives you a link to a handful of videos, and then it gives you a link to like up to 10 articles. Super good, free. I highly recommend it. What I posted though, reposted an article called Refinancing Volume Highest in Nearly 2 Years. So this is what the article looks like. Good. Nope, that's the wrong article. Sorry, everybody. This is what the article looks like. Sorry about that. And what it said is that week over week, refinance applications were up 7%. Year over year, refinance applications were up 22%, which is great, right? And then on average, people were refinancing at a rate of 6.85% last week. 6.85% was the average refinance rate. So good news, refinance is up 7%. Week over week, 22% year over year. The strike rate was 6.885%. So there you go. Next one, this is a very interesting article. This is existing home sales to foreign buyer drops by 20%. And that's kind of important because foreign buyers make up quite a bit of the market. In fact, from April 2023 to March 2024, foreign buyers spent $42 million on real estate in the United States on single-family residence, on existing single-family residence, I might add. But that was down 20% from the year before. It went from 98,600 transactions to 84,600 transactions. And so down 20%. Interestingly, and not surprisingly, China remains the top foreign buyer, followed by Canada, Mexico, India, and Colombia. So foreign transactions are down. They still account for quite a bit of business, 85,000 units. China is the number one buyer, followed by Canada, Mexico, India, and Colombia. So the next article, this is now going to Friday. I posted 4 articles on Friday. And on this, I started with 2 articles. One was from CNBC, Anna Teresa Sola, called Some Renters May Be Mortgage Ready and Not Know It. And then she referenced in it a study by Zillow. So I included the actual original study by Zillow, which was labeled, despite 7% mortgages, 1 in 7 families could still afford to take on a new mortgage. And this was by Orphe, can't say his last name, from Zillow. But here's what these two, these 2 articles pointed towards. About 39% of the 134 million families that rent, hold on, let me try again. About 39% of household formations rent. 39% of household formations rent. And of those, about around 7.9 million are actually mortgage ready, meaning they could both afford a mortgage and qualify. Right now, The Pittsburgh has the most mortgage-ready renters. Almost 26% of renters in Pittsburgh can afford to buy. Where the lowest area is San Diego. Only 2.6% of people that rent in San Diego can afford to buy. But overall, across the country, 1 in 7 renters could possibly be a homeowner. And in the articles, they cite why they don't buy is their fear that they don't have good enough credit, that they don't make enough money, they don't have enough to put down. I really encourage us to lean into that and to get some borrower education to show these renters how they can achieve the American dream and the wealth that comes with home ownership. Right after that, I posted another article. This has to do, and this other, see, all this news this week is good news. This article from Housing Wire says lower rates support a $2.7 trillion refinance rally, according to Jefferies. Jefferies, which is a investment bank. So Jefferies came out with a study, and here's what they said. Here's the premises. So listen to this. Jefferies forecasts that interest rates, mortgage interest rates, the 30-year fixed interest rate is going to end the year at 6.5%, and that it would drop at as low as 5.75% next year. So 6.5% this year, 5.75% next year, and if that were to happen, that would trigger a $2.7 trillion refi opportunity. So good news, right? And that's very likely. It's very likely rates could go down to 6.5 this year, and it's likely they could get down to 6.75 next year, and that would give us a bump of $2.7 trillion in refi opportunity. So that's a really good article. It's from Housing Wire. Flava Furlan Nunez wrote the article, and check it out. Now, these articles, the Housing Wire articles are behind a paywall. Whenever there's an article that I highlight on my link that's behind a paywall, I try to give you more of the details and the data, knowing that you may or may not be able to access the article. Now, some media companies allow you to access a certain amount of articles every month. Some don't. I don't know whether you can access it or not. That's why I put the link, try to get it. But like I said, if I know there's a paywall, I'll try to get you more information. Now, as we move on to the weekend, this morning I posted, on the weekend I try to post a little lighter material. So this morning I posted this article from Bankrate, which says more than 1 Americans earn money through side hustles, and 32% think that they'll always need to have a side hustle. It's kind of a lengthy article, has a bunch of pictures, has a bunch of reports in it. But here's the key to the article. There are some really interesting insights. And I think this is important if you're a mortgage or real estate professional to kind of understand the makeup of the people that we're going to try to serve. And now a lot of them have a side hustle, a third of them. So not only do we need to figure out that we're making sure we're qualifying them correctly, but we also need to understand what their needs are based on having a side hustle, what kind of strain that puts on a family. Also, for those that don't, inviting people that can't quite afford a house, perhaps a side hustle will help them get to home ownership faster. So 1/3 of Americans earn money through a side hustle. 32% believe that they'll always have to keep working a side hustle to afford their lifestyle. On average, people earn $686 a month in their side hustle, of which they work 5 to 10 hours a week. So they work 5 to 10 hours a week, and they earn $686. So pretty interesting. Millennials are the most likely to have a side hustle, with half of them having a side hustle. Half of millennials have a side hustle. Is that crazy? Most popular side hustles are home repair, landscaping, online sales, and ride sharing. So the side hustle thing, super interesting. A third of Americans have side hustles. Millennials lead the bunch, with 50% of millennials have a side hustle. On average, they earn $686 a month, working 5 to 10 hours a week. So there you go. That's the side hustles. The last article that I posted this week, which I actually posted this yesterday, I'm so sorry about that, was Apollo's 2024 Housing Outlook. I don't have a copy of it for you here, but I did post it on my LinkedIn. It's a 115-page report. Of the 115 pages, somewhere around 110 of them have charts. I highlighted this in my live session yesterday. I did a full 20 minutes on it, where I highlighted roughly 45 of the charts out of the 110. Check that out. Go to my LinkedIn, click on that, get the report. chock full of information. As a matter of fact, it wouldn't harm you if you're a real estate agent or a loan officer to go back and listen to a recording of my live session yesterday, where I not only talk about the charts, but how you might use them in your business, how you might use them for lunch and learns, for buyer presentations, for home buyer seminars. So definitely check that out. That there's just 110. They're all great. Whether it's market forecasts or economic conditions, demographic shifts, all sorts of really good stuff in there. So check out Apollo's housing outlook support. Now, tomorrow I always list my Sundays on this call. And my Sunday I was super light on Sunday. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull them up. You won't be able to see them, but I'm gonna pull them up here in 1 second. I had two infographics. Both were kind of humorous, and I think you'll enjoy them both. The first one, which I'm going to take a peek at right now, so sorry. The first one was fast food inflation, right? That's the first infographic that I'm publishing tomorrow morning. And here's what this says. How much has fast food increased in price in the last 10 years, right? How much has it increased in price? And the answer is McDonald's price has doubled. In 10 years, the price has doubled. It's gone up 100%. Where, the lowest, the fast food companies that had the least inflation were Burger King, Chick-fil-A, Arby's, Wendy's, all had, around 55% inflation over the past 10 years, with McDonald's at 100%, Popeyes 86%, Taco Bell 81%, Chipotle at 75%. Those were the highest. And I put in my caption, really an interesting infographic that doesn't have anything to do with mortgages or real estate, or does it? Does the price of food impact mortgages and real estate? And the answer is yes. It 100% impacts consumer confidence, consumer sentiment. It also impacts their belief, the psychology, and what they think they can afford to buy. If they're earning $5,000 a month and their rent's $2,000 and they don't have any money at the end of the month because things are so expensive, then they can't imagine or project getting a house with a payment of $2,500 a month. And so food inflation definitely impacts what we do. But I put that there for fun. The other infographic that I put on there for fun for all you NFL fans, I put an infographic about NFL revenues for last season. Interesting. They ranged from $495 million to $1.14 billion per team, if you want to know. The team with the most revenue, the Dallas Cowboys, had $1.14 billion in revenue, followed by the Raiders at $729 million, and then the LA Rams at $686 million, right? Number 4 was the Patriots at $684 million, and then New York Giants at $639 million. You get the idea. San Francisco was $622 million. But the fun thing is to see who was on the bottom. Surprisingly, because they had a good team, Detroit had the least revenue at $495 million, followed by the Bengals, the Arizona Cardinals, the Buffalo Bills, the Tennessee Titans, the Jaguars, and then the woeful Chargers. Chargers had $518 million. So there you go. Interesting graphics. Has nothing to do with what we do, but I thought they were fun to put up. That was the week. It was somewhat of a slow week, not intentionally. It's just there's so much other news crowding out, the news that we normally get to watch. So, there wasn't as much going on, but from a news week, man, it was unbelievable, all the stuff going on, up to and including the recent technology outage. Like, how crazy is that? And I've heard from quite a few of you that there's massive outages at mortgage companies, that Compass wasn't working or your platform wasn't working. So sorry about all that frustration. People flying, a lot of them couldn't go home. Heck, TV stations couldn't broadcast. ESPN had to go on reruns because they couldn't broadcast live on ESPN yesterday for a while. Local news stations couldn't go on. So a little bit of disruption. It seems like we're getting out of that disruption. But that's it. So that's my Saturday news and notes. Check out my LinkedIn if you liked any of these things. In my LinkedIn post, I give a description of the article. I try to state, hey, here's a summary. Here's maybe some action points that you might want to take or consider. Or here's the impact. Here's some action points, and then some encouragement. That's the little formula I use. Is summary, the impact, action points and encouragement. This is my own little mind. I keep them nice and short, and then I always put a link to the article at the bottom of the article. And if any time you try to click through an article and it's behind a paywall, you can always ping me and I'll send you a copy of the article. And that's it. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Thank you for touching base with me. Tomorrow is book club Sunday. I got a really interesting book in mind for tomorrow. Not in mind, I know what I'm doing. The book tomorrow. And the reason why it's interesting is some of the top salespeople that I've known or heard, listened to, have said this book was the #1 influential book on their business. Like changed their whole mindset, their business. And I'm talking like the top dogs, like the biggest real estate agents, the biggest loan officers read this book and it changed their business. I read the book, I listened to the audio tape, I annotated the book. I must be thick. I didn't quite get all that, but we'll talk about it tomorrow. So log in, check my book club tomorrow, and have a great weekend. Thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.